We've known since the mid-70s that pumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere was heating up the planet and causing climate change. But willful ignorance, collective cognitive dissonance, and plain old misinformation have greatly undermined the severity of the problem. Scientists first began to worry about climate change towards the end of the 1950s.
In the 1950s, scientists start looking more closely at the possible effects of CO2 emissions on global temperatures. For the first time, we start to realize that we could have a major problem on our hands.
A few degrees rise in the Earth's temperature would melt the polar ice caps.
Only in 1995 was the first World Summit held on climate change, called Conference of the Parties, or COP for short. These conferences have been criticized by many leading authorities on climate science. For despite this conference being held for the better part of 3 decades by world leaders, carbon emissions continue to rise and the environment continues to come apart at the seams. To give you an idea of how astray all this actually is, the president of COP28, arguably the most dire and pivotal conference to date, leads a company that pumped 2.7 million barrels of oil a day in 2021 and is targeted to double that by 2027.
But Al Jaber's appointment touched off a swarm of controversy. More than 100 activists and politicians demanded he be removed or give up his oil executive position, arguing that his leadership puts the fossil fuel industry inside the high-level negotiations and cements its outsized influence.
They know the truth, and they...
Al Gore, a leading environmentalist, fired back. Do you take us for fools?
He's the CEO of the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, owned by Abu Dhabi. So this is the person in charge of the COP.
Having an oil-rich Arab emirate hold a summit on greenhouse gas emission reductions is like the U.S. Federal Reserve holding a summit on socialism. We've got the fox guarding the henhouse here, folks. If it weren't so utterly wrong and hope-crushing, it would be farcical. Studies now show that we have surpassed the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold of acceptable global temperature change determined at the Paris COP conference in 2015. Yet at COP28, there was no acknowledgement that 1.5 had been breached.
Most important is that this COP finishes with a commitment to keep 1.5 degrees of warming alive.
Applause for that, because this deal will not on its own keep the goal alive of restricting global warming to 1.5 Celsius or less. 1.5 Celsius could still be within our grasp.
Who stands to gain by interpreting the data so that it lowballs the figures? What are these conferences designed to do if not give accurate hard science on the state of the Earth's climate?
A draft resolution circulated at COP28 in Dubai does not call on nations to phase out fossil fuels.
It really does bring into question whether or not COP is fit for purpose for what it was designed to achieve, which was to address climate change.
After 12 long days, the United Nations Climate Conference is drawing to a close, with no unity in sight.